Today we are talking about social media, and in particular, we're talking about an aspect of the web world, which is cybersecurity. And we are joined today by a team of specialists that know a lot about cybersecurity. Getting hacked is what we might know about on the street, is the term you use. A cybersecurity specialist is somebody who can stop you from becoming hacked, or can you? That's a good question. We're going to be asking our guest today. And we are joined by Don Carroll, and now I'm going to let you guys share, because there's kind of a group of companies that are being represented here. I want to make sure that I share them all. InfoSafe is one of them, and we have Mark with us as well. So Mark, tell us about the conglomerate of companies that we have here and how somebody is able to find you guys.
Okay, well, I'm with the InfoSafe certification group or program, and then of course we got Don Carroll here. He also works with our team. He's with Carroll and Company, and then we've got MMA Systems with us here today, and they do some of the IT work with some of the more challenging issues that we have with clients. We can be reached if you're looking at that information.
Sure.
At infosafecertification.com, and you can reach us locally here at 480-238-4934.
Perfect. And you're going to want to reach out to them, because the real answer to the question, well, let me just ask it to you. Can you actually truly prevent yourself from being hacked?
You can do a lot of things to protect your business, but the answer to that question is no. I mean, there's just so many different ways that it can be done, so many different methods that are out there, and as you know, it evolves on a minute-by-minute basis. That something new is coming out, a new way of having those types of issues. So no, that is not 100. There's no 100% foolproof way to keep yourself from this particular issue or risk.
I could pipe in,
Sure,
if I may.
absolutely.
That studies have shown, though, that 96% of all data breach and cyber situations that have occurred could have been avoided with preventative strategies, and that's what we're all about.
That's what we want to talk
We want
about.
to get rid of the 90. We'll eliminate the 96%.
Which is very, very comforting. It's kind of like you're out on the freeway, and you know that to get jumped into gangs, they're going to have some freeway shootings out there.
Yeah.
But there are things you can do to make sure that you reduce your chances of being the 4%.
That's right.
Okay.
So when I was earlier talking, I was talking about that 4%.
You betcha. You can't prevent somebody else from
difficult to deal with.
shooting,
Uh-huh.
but you can actually make sure that you avoid. So let's talk about the increase. Why the increase in cybersecurity? Tell us a little bit about the problem very quickly.
Don, would you like to talk a little bit about that, the increase, what we're seeing?
Well, since 2005 now, there's been, I don't have the exact number, but if I remember right, over 607 million records of individuals have been compromised that we know about. Those are the ones that have been reported. Okay.
And the reason why they're hacked is that the number one crime in the world is cybersecurity. It's white crime. It's white collar crime. It's the biggest moneymaker above all the crimes that we have, and so that's why they're hacking.
What happens is the person that's stealing the data, okay, usually are not the people that are using the data. There's
Sure.
a
That's
very
correct.
sophisticated black market. Depending on the information they steal, they can get anywhere from 50 cents clear up to $500 per record they steal. So you can imagine some teenager or college kid that hacks in and steals 1,000 records. Multiply that times $10 a piece. He's made himself some pretty quick money. Usually we've found, and this is the new information, to take care of an addiction.
Absolutely, but then what the real crimes, the real deep crimes, come with the people who are buying that in the same way. Well, let's not make comparisons. Let's just say that that's what they do with that information, lifting money out of bank accounts, all kinds of things that we don't have time to talk about on this segment. But it's a big problem.
Yeah.
So now, what has Obama been doing recently to combat this problem?
Well, in February 13th.
It was the 12th to be exact.
February 12th,
There you go.
2013. He issued what they call the Obama Cybersecurity Executive Order. Cyber Executive Order, okay. And what happened is Congress have been trying to pass a law for the last 4 years to try to figure out how to deal with this, and they've not been able to agree on a law. So he says, okay, I can't get you guys to do it, so I'm going to create my own. And what the law does, one, he does it, and he's able to do the executive order in the name of, quote, national security, okay? And then what it adds another layer of regulation that he's able to do. He's able now to set up a framework where they can review all the regulations, because there's state regulations, there's industry regulations, there's state laws, industry regulations, there's already multiple federal regulations in place, okay, that affect most businesses. Now he's able to review all those and add another layer onto your back.
And I think the interpretation of layer is fees.
Fees and additional regulations
fees,
coming down the pike. Yeah, that's what we're seeing coming.
Since what happens, see,
You know,
they cannot catch the bad guys. Every once in a while.
This is
Can't
kind of
do
the point I wanted to
They
draw
can't
out.
catch
Yeah.
the bad guys. So now the business owner becomes the bad guy. All right. He was the one that the data was compromised.
Information.
We can't go get the real bad guy, so we're coming after you. You're the guy.
You bet. And it's not without case precedent. I mean, if you put your jewelry in a jewelry store and they get robbed, but it's a consignment store, they're responsible for the theft of your diamonds or
Yeah.
whatever. So,
Right.
so similar thing here. It's in your good care and keeping. And so, but what normally doesn't happen is Obama doesn't step in and fine. So there is another layer of fines that will occur. So you guys have a solution, and what is that? In the interest of time, share with us what type of solution that you have for that problem.
the InfoSafe certification program. And what that program is designed to do is help businesses be compliant with both the federal regulations and state laws that they need to comply with, depending on where they're doing business. One of the tricky parts of that is that if they're doing business in multiple states, now they've got to follow each of those state laws, and each state law is a little bit different. And kind of give you an example of that would be reporting. So in some states they require 10 days, some 72 hours, another one 7 days. And now if you don't report and you have an actual breach or a cyber attack, and you don't report within that reporting period, now there's regulatory penalties and fines are going to get attached to that. So our program is designed to help that business owner tackle that regulatory compliance, I don't want to say nightmare, but
It
again,
is.
it's one of those things, and making sure that that's in place. Part of that program, of course, is doing the assessments, vulnerability assessments that we do as part of the program that are required with the new regulations that are coming out and they're changing daily. And then in addition to that, making sure that they have in place really a great response plan, because at the end of the day, it's about mitigating. Where we talked a little bit about this risk, you just really can't, it's going to happen, and if it does, what are you going to do to manage it? And what we see with a lot of companies, that's the challenge, is they don't have anything in place. They don't have a breach response plan in place. So when it does occur, that time goes, really by fast. Next thing they know, they're out of compliance, and now they've got the Attorney General's office with the regulators and everybody on their back, starting to write penalties and fines. So we put the program into place to help mitigate that risk to the business owner, making sure that it makes it easy. It's an 800 number their clients can call. We've got our staff that takes care of it, and we have a response plan that we put in place with them to be able to deal with each of those regulatory compliance issues.
Do I have time to add a little bit, or are we here done?
Yes, go ahead. I think we have about 2 minutes.
Okay. What happens too is once we run you through all the steps and process and procedures.
Which there's two types. There is the preventive measures, and then there's what happens if you can't truly prevent it. If it ever happens, then you walk them through the process immediately afterwards.
But even before, what we want to do is we're going to do an assessment of of what kind of data and how
Sure.
you manage your
How you
data.
get
We're
into
going
the
to do
program.
we're going to make sure you have it. And these are all required by law.
Sure.
You're going to have a data security policy that's part of your business, and that everyone in your business needs to know about and be trained on. Okay.
Yeah.
And so forth. There's several items that we do, but once we do all this, then you receive a certification. That's why we call it the InfoSafe certification program. You become certified, InfoSafe certified. You get to put the InfoSafe certified logo on your website. All your customers, all your vendors know that you are InfoSafe certified. You are compliant, which 99% of businesses are not.
So put you in the top 1%.
We're going to put
I
you,
know.
and we're going to make sure that you're compliant. You're following all these laws. Now, what I love about it, not only is it a good thing for my own, as a marketing perspective and make me appealing to the world out there, but I love it as a business owner, Because I've been down this road before. We trained, 3 years ago, we trained all our employees
Yeah.
on our data security policy. We're in the risk management business. This is before we were involved in this. But then, 3 years later, there's been turnover, no one's been trained, our server's been changed out, okay? Nothing's kept me compliant, all right? This, every quarter, we're gonna follow up. Have you hired new employees? Are they trained? Are you handling new kinds of data? We need to adjust your data
You
policy.
provide that training.
That's
some of it's
correct. Now there's a
online.
new executive order out. You need to make sure you're compliant with that new executive order.
That's extremely important for two reasons. One is for the own sanity inside of the business. But as in any insurance policy, the insurance kicks in if you've been compliant.
That's
Right.
correct.
So that certification isn't just pretty. It's also extremely important for marketing purposes, but it's more than pretty is the best word I'm trying to phrase I'm trying to use. Is that now you can activate that insurance so your business is not put out of business. Is that a good way to
That's
summarize that whole
correct. That's
thing?
correct. And the statistics are alarming. You know, you've got, if you have a breach, you've got 40% of your clients they're considering doing business with somebody else. 20% on the spot are going to walk, and then you've got the challenge of the other 5% that are going to consider a class action suit against you.
Right.
So that's the kind of things that we're seeing on the client
It
side of your
also
business.
helps prevent the class action lawsuits because the class action lawsuit implies that you were negligent.
That you were negligent.
So that's
Exactly.
the other thing that more than pretty
You're in a
symbol
defensible
certification
position.
gives you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
great. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks
This
for
will
having
be
us.
recorded. You're so welcome. It'll be recorded and put up on YouTube. If anybody wants to be able to contact them, give us their contact information one more time.
Okay, so it's infosafecertification.com. Has all of our information on our website. You can also reach me locally at 480-238-4934.
Wonderful. Again, thank you, Dawn and Rusty and Mark, for coming on the show. InfoSafe is the mother company for all of this. LeBaron and Carol, I think, is providing the insurance and the backside, and then a lot of the IT work. Even though we didn't hear a lot from him, is from MMA Systems with Rusty McCurdy, one of my most favorite people in the world. I'm sure he's going to become one of your favorite people as well. Thanks again for tuning into the Social Universe. When we come back, we're going to be talking with one of the largest and most recognizable names here in the United States. So don't go away. We'll be right back.